side. So what are you doing in 2026, Dusty?
Well, I'm going to run for governor. I love this state, and I think the next 20 years can be the best 20 years in South Dakota's history. But we need to have a real plan. We need to have real leadership. And I'm excited to build that plan and build that team.
Was it difficult to decide to leave D.C. and pivot towards Pierre?
I've enjoyed my time in Washington. It's an incredible honor to be able to serve our state in D.C., but I don't think anybody should go to Washington for 40 or 50 years, spend a career out there. I've gone, I've given it everything I've got, and now I think the challenges facing our state need a strong leader, and I'm ready to be that leader.
Of course, you're going to be running as a Republican. Could be a crowded field, could be a contentious primary. What do you think about all that?
Well, it'll certainly be a contentious primary. That's the era we're in. And I'm ready to have the real conversation about the clear differences in this race. My politics are about addition and multiplication, not about subtraction and division. There are certainly some angry voices out there, but I think it's my job to push back against those angry voices. I think voters are tired of the fear and anger that is coming from small minds with small visions. It is time for South Dakota to dream big.
What are one or two issues that you think you'll really zero in on as your biggest the rest of this year, next year, as you seek to occupy the governor's office in Pierre? One or two, if you've zeroed in on those yet.
Well, we need to cut property taxes, and we can keep those tax rates low if we grow this economy through new businesses, new energy production, dairy expansion, bringing high-tech jobs home to South Dakota. And then from an educational perspective, we have to make college and tech school more affordable, and we need to focus on those programs and the research that powers South Dakota. And then in K-12, we need to be relentless about student achievement. And we can get there by setting real goals, using real data, and not being afraid to lead.
Why specifically the governor's office and not, staying in the House, maybe aiming for the Senate, maybe going back to the private sector? Why specifically the governor's race?
I think we're at a key inflection point for our state. We have just an incredible foundation. We all know the rankings: world-class health care, safe communities, strong schools, low tax rate, low regulation. But if we're really going to have a next 20 years that we can all be proud to hand to our children, I think we do need focus. And sometimes politicians and the political environment loses focus. We need to be lasered in on smart children, safe communities, strong families, better jobs, and I'm just so excited to grab that baton.
Any idea who your lieutenant governor might be?
Well, we've got 11 months until the primary, and most traditionally, candidates have selected their lieutenant governor after the primary. It's not hard to imagine that I would wait until then.
Gotcha. Is part of your calculus to run for governor wanting to leave D.C. in its current political climate? Is that part of your motivation to run for governor, the exit from D.C.?
People always assume that D.C. is such a terrible environment that, I just can't wait to get out of there. And that's really not the case. I've been incredibly useful, I think, in helping a rowdy and colorful Republican House get things done. Speaker Johnson and President Trump have looked to me to bridge the divides of the House, and I've done it. So it's been incredibly valuable to secure the border, cut spending, reform welfare. So I'm not running away from anything. I'm running toward the incredible opportunities that our state has.
If you're talking to a voter and they're like, well, he's just not MAGA enough, or, well, he's just too red for me, I'm more middle, I'm more conservative, or excuse me, I'm more liberal. How do you convince a voter who's hesitant or not inclined to vote for Dusty Johnson to support you?
We're in a political era where everybody wants to label every Republican as a certain brand of Republican. I kind of reject those games. I mean, I'm just Dusty. South Dakota knows me. They know my work ethic. They know my determination. They know that I'm always going to govern with legitimate conservative values, but working to find those areas that bring us together. If we're going to make the kind of change that we can be proud of, it is going to come from a large number of us working together.